Welcome to another Swift Performance Equipment tutorial on our Speedlight app. Today we're going to give you an overview of the Test Designer and how you can use that to your best benefit. The Test Designer is very useful in creating linear, change of direction or multipath tests. The simplest of those is a linear test. I'll do one of these now. So on the right hand side of the page you can see we have gates, speed starts, mats, cones and things. We'll just drag a gate across, which is our start gate. We'll drag a second gate across. That is how we create a linear test. The test is done, it's ready to roll. We just give it a name, test 1, and save it. So we've created a straight linear 30-metre test. If we want to introduce a little bit more into this test, we'll do a new test. We put a gate down to start, and we put some cones in place and a gate to finish. You can see on our grid it's 10 metres out, 10 metres forward, ends up with 14.1 metre as a result to the cone. What's important about it is that these distances are used in the app to record velocities. So if you want to get accurate velocities in the reports in your app, you need to make sure that you set your gates up in the right locations. I'll make a new app now. This is still a linear test, by the way, because we're going through it in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's finished. A new test. The next test we could do, and probably one of the simplest ones, is a repeat sprint test. We lay our two gates on the page, we press options, and we say repeat sprint. We tell how many repeats we want our athlete to do. Might be 8, and we can set our time. We might say we want 8 sprints of 20 seconds, and we tap off that window. So now when you run your test, the athlete will be standing in front of the start gate. The lights will all be red. When you arm the system, the lights go green. They will run through the gates to the end. From the moment they start here, the 20-second timer starts. They might run this 30 metres in, say, 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds or something. When they get to this end, the lights will go red, and it will hold them there with a red light until the 20 seconds has elapsed, after which time the green light will come on this gate. They then sprint through to the other end, and the same thing occurs. They go red until the 20 seconds has elapsed, and so forth. And that's how you run a repeat sprint test using the Speedlight system. Next test we'll do is the change of direction test. I'll select new again. For change of direction, we can start on a gate, for example, and we might want to have a test where the athlete runs left or right, randomly selected by the system. As you drag the gates on the page, the system assumes it's a linear test, which is why we've got this dotted line going down here. It's not what we want. So we need to disconnect this dotted line. To do that, we use 2 fingers, put one finger on that top gate and tap the bottom gate. You'll notice that line's now disappeared. Now put a finger on the middle gate and tap the bottom gate, and we put that line back in. That might be a little bit confusing, but if you go up into the information page at the top of the page here, you can see we've got some information on how that works. So that's a change of direction test. The system will automatically send the athlete to left or right when they hit this second gate. Pretty straightforward. You can change the name of your gates to left or right in the Set Up a Connection page by tapping on the gate after you drag it onto the page and renaming it. Next thing I'll do is a multipath test. So we'll go new, and we'll go back to our old gate, our old test where you run through these cones to here. Now what we want the athlete to do is, after they get to the end, we want them to actually go back to the start. So we hold our one finger on this gate and tap the start gate. You notice it's put another dotted line in there. We need to tell the start gate that it has to collect 2 splits, a starting split and a finishing split. Now what happens with this test is the system is armed. The athlete will see a green light come on the first gate. They'll sprint through the cones to this gate and then sprint back to the start. So that's a multipath test. Of course, you could do whatever you want with a multipath test. You could have one gate in the middle and then have several gates around. This is the two finger thing happening here. Break that, connect that. So in this way, we can put a reverse path up on each of these. And with that test, your athlete would start in the centre. Once they broke the start gate, one of these gates, this one, or this one will turn its green light on. You don't know which one, it's random. Then the athlete would, after they run out, break that beam, they come back to the centre. Once they break that, another one would come on. Now you can tell the system how many times you want each gate to turn on. So if you wanted 3 on that one, and 3 on that one, and 3 on that one, that would mean 9 repeats back to the centre, plus the start, which makes 10. And that's a drill you could run for warm-up or for agility, that sort of thing. Okay, new test. Sometimes you don't really care the distance the gates are set up. You might just have a pile of gates on your page and you just want a time, simple time whenever something happens. So if you go into options and press freestyle, the system actually sets up any gate for a start, any gate for a stop, any gate for a split. One gate can collect any or all splits and it will carry on regardless until you stop the test. That's called freestyle. Let's do something new. Let's do a simple reaction test. We'll start with the speed start device. We're going to run to this gate, maybe to a second gate. Just tap start and turn reaction on. Now in this start mode, the athlete places their foot in the speed start. When the green light comes on the first gate, they run. The system will record the time it takes from the green light coming on to the foot moving, and that's called our reaction time. Then it records the split from the start to the first gate and the first gate to the second gate. I'll save that, I'll call it reaction 1. I'll just show you how that works. So we've saved the test, we go into set up a connection, we turn our devices on, they appear on the right hand side, we drag them out onto the page, and we run our test. Arm the system. So you looking at the results, you can see here we have a start reaction of 0.9 of a second, and you can notice up here on the graph that 0 is here, but that's our reaction time, 0.9. Then we get our 2 splits here and here. Quite useful. The last thing I'll show you in our test designer is how to set up a jump test, and it's very, very simple. Just drag a jump mat or a speed mat, sorry, onto the page. Tap on it, tell how many jumps you want, what sort of test it is. And save it. J1, save. And then if you want to run that test, this is the type of results you'll get. You might note that in the right hand side we have power. We generate a power output for each jump, average power. We generate the reactive strength index, RSI 47 on that jump of 21.5 centimetres, and of course we record the contact time and the flight time, etc. So that's it for our test designer and how you might run it hope you found that useful. We'll be releasing more videos shortly, so keep your eye on this site. Thank you.